Adele.
So good to see you, Leslie.
Good to see you. And it is a new year.
It is. This is our first broadcast for 2022, and we just could not wait to do this. We tried in January, and of course, we were all going in different directions. So
Yes,
we
yes.
thought, well, it's never too late or too early. So here we are.
Right, right. And so it's New Year's and Valentine's Day all
And
wrapped in one lovely package for you
that's
guys.
right. That's right.
Yes,
And
yeah.
if you notice, we are now, it's not colorful conversations, it's magical conversations. And it all has to do with Capture the Magic, which is our new theme for this summit.
Yes, and we are already working on it. Yes, we are. We're already working on it. We have everything just coming along very beautifully. So
Yes.
we still have some work ahead of us, like always, but we're so excited. And I see we have somebody joining us off of Facebook.
Crazy girl.
Oh,
Hmm.
I actually like I like the she said it was auto-corrected from twofold. I kind of like that twofold thing. I didn't really know what it meant, but I thought it sounded kind of cool. So
Well, we'd like to know who you are.
yes,
Don't be so
absolutely.
mysterious. Remember, we can't see your names. A lot of times the names don't come up and we have to see, hi, one.
Hi.
Okay, we're doing good here. We
Yes,
still don't know who
yes.
you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if you pop on, say your name, say, hi, this is so-and-so, because we just show up, it just shows up at Facebook user, and we want to know who you are because we love you being here.
yes,
So
we do. And please feel free to put comments and ask questions. And today we have a fabulous guest, and I know she will be up for any questions that you ask her. And we're just thrilled that we'll be able to offer these broadcasts for you. And we've got all kinds of great things planned out prior to the summit coming up, which is in
yes.
October. And it's not that far away.
Hi from Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Hey,
Yay.
Barbara.
Good. Yes, nice. Yeah, so like I said, Adele and I are busy working to get everything together for the Our Connection Summit, Capture the Magic this year, and we have plenty of magic coming your way.
We sure do.
Yes.
And the website will, as we're progressing, we'll be updating the website. Let's see here. Her name is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Oh, and we don't know what NEFG is. Good morning, Kathleen. Yay.
Is that
Barbara, will you tell us
and
what that means?
I'm guessing needle felting, but I may not be right.
Northeastern Felting Guild.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
That would be really cool if I was right.
Oh, okay. So you get the prize.
Yes.
Hey, Kathleen.
Yeah. Hey, Kathleen. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Yay. And Giselle.
Hey,
Hi.
Giselle.
Yay. Nice, Giselle. Good. You guys, yay for you for showing up. Good.
Well,
Good job.
I know Giselle is at home and she's experiencing the snow like I am. She's here in Montreal.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Northeast
Felt Makers Guild. So
hey, we were close.
Really, yes.
Yeah. We were close.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah,
well, it's
definitely.
great that you ladies are coming in, and we have an exciting program and some other tidbits we're going to start sharing. And we will be talking about the challenge, which is the house from our house to your house.
Yes.
So we'll be discussing that a little later on after we have our guest up.
Absolutely, definitely. Good. So, and Adele, and you, what have you been working on lately?
On which, just in general?
In your artwork?
In my artwork. Well, Leslie, I decided in January I wanted to get into fine arts or get back into fine arts. So I started doing studies on with color pencils. So I've been working my way through those type of projects and studies.
Yes. And if you guys have been following, those are pretty intense projects.
Yes, it's been crazy. So it's all been bits and pieces. So at one point I am going to do one big piece, and it's been very, very interesting. I did sign up through an academy to be able to understand the techniques, and not all colored pencils are created equal.
Yep. Yep.
And that goes
Definitely.
for paper too. So
Yes.
I have really been learning a lot of techniques, and just really enjoying the process and trying to stay very dedicated to it. And the other thing I've been working on is our challenge. But I think, Leslie, I've overbuilt for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, we'll talk about that after our guest, and then
Yeah,
I'll show
okay,
you all.
fine.
We'll
You don't
we'll
want to
talk about
share.
it after the guest. Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
who is this now? Okay.
Oh, great. So
I think
we
she's
don't
on.
know if that's I don't know if that's an ad or
I'm not sure. It doesn't
or
matter.
the gate
Um,
crasher. Yep.
so we will now to start bringing up our guests, because I know
Let's
all
do
of you are
that.
waiting on this.
Yes.
I want to bring up a little information on her.
Oh, let's kind of preempt this a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Merle, and Merle was also one of our presenters last year too.
She sure
And
was.
since then, she has really been devoted to what she's doing. So let's show her everybody a little bit of this work that she's doing.
Wow, that's wonderful. I can't wait
I
for
know.
everybody to meet Merle. So we'll bring her right on up.
Yes.
Hey, Merle.
Hi, Merle. Thank you
How are
for being with
you?
us today. We're so
Thank
happy you're
you.
here. And we were talking a little bit earlier, and I was telling Merle that Adele and I both so love your work, what you're doing right now. We've always loved everything, but this is really gorgeous pieces. And
Yes.
yes.
It's just that I find it very refreshing and contemporary. And when I was looking at the video, and I've watched the video several times, I
Mhm.
see figures in there all the time. I see a different sculpture. I don't know, I just keep seeing different figures in your wire work. It's beautiful, really beautiful.
Wow.
Well, truthfully, the inspiration for these wire pieces I should have had a picture for you, but really come from Art Nouveau. And
Yeah, yeah.
especially, even more specifically, Art Nouveau doors. And I just am totally in love with what people refer to as the whiplash.
Right.
And I didn't know that it was called that.
Yeah.
But it's just something about the curve, and I've always loved spirals, like in nature, like the nautilus, multi-chamber
Mm-hmm.
nautilus. It's like my whole life. I've been always attracted to that, but specifically the Art Nouveau doors. And it just gives me, a lot of inspiration. And actually, I've always worked with wire, except I've always covered it up. I covered it up with fiber, and which sort of takes me back a little bit. The beginning of my journey, which basically I graduated with a degree from Moore College of Art and Design. I also went to art school in LA, and I have a BFA textile design, fashion design, and I did a lot of sculptural weaving, a lot of supplementary warp, where you wrap and sculpt. You have sculpture on the surface of the weaving. And I basically got rid of the weaving, and I just started playing with the
Yeah.
sculpture. But there was always wire, always. And you're working with this wire, which kills your wrist, the 16 gauge wire, and they are not all created equal.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I thought, boy, what would it be like to just work with the wire? And then I took a workshop, which they were using rebar tie wire, and then I just got and it was for an
Yeah.
underpinning for fiber sculpture. But from the fiber, I did tapestries, large scale commissions for 15 years. I did hospitals, I did churches, I did private residences, and my very last tapestry, I was actually a docile cloth. I was up on like 20-foot scaffolding, hanging this docile cloth with the pastor, and the scaffolding is going like this.
Yeah.
Oh
And,
boy.
Yeah.
and I'm looking around. This is 1985, and I'm looking around. I'm like, do I really want to be doing this for the rest of my life? And at that point, weaving fell out of favor. It goes in and out of favor.
Right.
And I jumped into home fashion, which was, part of my degree. And I had an interior design practice. I've had it for 30 years, and I sort of retired about a year ago. But it was a nice change, and weaving kind of fell by the wayside.
Mhm.
But I always had a side hustle of either making jewelry, or I did a lot of small scale collage work, and worked with Armstrong Flooring, and
Wow.
for their national flooring ads. In those days, they had, when they had money, they would hang one of
Mm.
my little pieces and work the colors of the room around the
Oh,
pieces.
that's
So
so
Oh,
great.
yeah,
that's
it was kind of cool. It was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was like in Good Housekeeping and Better Homes and Gardens. And anyway, so I did the collage work, and then I started making jewelry. So I sort of feel like my first act was fiber, my second act was design, and now I'm in my third, and I think I'm in my final act.
Maybe not. Maybe
maybe
not.
I don't know.
No.
You
If
never.
there's a fourth act, it's not on the earth, but my final act is working with this jewelry, and
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to be represented by a fashion designer in California, and she reps my work at Fashion Week in New York, which takes
Yes.
place both in September and February. So I personally go in September, and it's like being like a kid in a candy store to
Wow.
see what's out there, both nationally and international fashions, and kind of alternative fashion. And then they have it again now, and I'm in Florida, and I just send my things. And so the wire work that you see, I literally just sent it off. What's today? Friday. I sent it off Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they have it to take with them on the plane for when they go to New York.
That's great.
Great.
Yeah. So now I'm in the jewelry phase. Now, so my wire is now naked. It has no fiber around it.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the work of Alexander Calder,
Mhm. Mhm.
because you have those delicate line drawings. And I've always been enamored with, I said, Art Nouveau.
Mhm.
And the third thing that just gets the light bulbs going off is Queen Elizabeth. And I think you have
Yeah.
Yeah, we have something here.
yeah. When you look at her, okay, so she was the apogee of the English Renaissance. People think of the Italian Renaissance, but they don't realize that overlapping is the English Renaissance, which gave us Shakespeare, and it gave us this woman whoever designed this stuff, they didn't miss a trick. They see that the chest is like, we'll talk about my third act. The chest is the stage, and look at everything that's going on. I mean, they have the neckline positioned in such a way that it showcases the jewelry and it enhances the face. And they use lots of pearls. And for me, if we're talking theater, pearls are like the footlights to a stage. And you see the way it works in her hair, and you see the wonderful outline of the ruff collar. They don't miss a trick. And we have nothing on her. So so for me, I can just continue to look at this and get lots of ideas about how to sort of slice and dice the chest and to make something interesting. And so you can take that down now. And the thing is, and I'm sure you'll agree, when you're done with a collection, you can't wait to get to the next one. So these are very singular, but now I'm starting to work with wire, but in layers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work with layers.
Yes.
So I started working with layers. And oh, by the way, I'm wearing, can you see that?
Oh, yes.
Beautiful. But you know,
Beautiful.
that's great.
Yeah.
You're showing it because you can't really tell the size
Yes.
of it.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
that's
it's a little
gorgeous.
weird, but yeah. And so, and the other thing too is, there was a time where I was making my jewelry and I had no intention of wearing it. I just wanted to make it, which sounded a little silly. And I kept grabbing other artists' jewelry that I bought. And honestly, I said to myself one day, well, how come I'm not wearing my own stuff? And, I mean, you know, and now I only wear my things, but I will buy like vintage earrings. And I love going to flea market. That's my, favorite thing to do. But then I look for clothing that has a neckline that will show my jewelry off, like Queen Elizabeth, actually.
Yes.
So when you're working in layers, and if I want to start working with V shapes, you have to be really careful, with the neckline. Maybe you have a V, a V neckline, and or something that's really going to showcase. If you have something small, the garment has to act like the stage curtains. It has to showcase it in a certain way. And what's interesting is I find that when I do the tabletop shows, I didn't know this at the beginning, but I brought a full-length mirror with me. And I was surprised how many women, they want to wear my stuff, but they don't know how to wear it.
Yeah.
So we put the necklaces on, and, it's like, oh, and they don't want to get started, and then they get overwhelmed. And I said, you know what? Just wear pearls. You wear pearls, you can't go wrong. And the pearls that I wear, I get here in Florida. There's this crazy quirky store, and I buy them there, and honestly, they're $5 a pair, and I absolutely love them, and I wear them like almost every day. And you tell women just wear pearls, and then they don't feel so overwhelmed. But sometimes a necklace will drive an entire outfit, and sometimes it won't. So when they ask you, well, if you have something this large, is this going to drive the entire outfit? And in this case, yes, probably it will. And so fashion really comes into it, which was another part of my training. But the fashion for something that, if you wear a statement piece, you have to think about maybe having a very architectural look from head to toe. Sometimes something that is frilly, or if the fabric doesn't have enough strength to it visually, it doesn't work. So you have to play a little bit, but I was pretty amazed at how much we know, but we don't share it. And how do you wear a statement? So that's sort of interesting.
And I love what you said, Merle, about think of it as the curtains or the framework. I mean, like your statement piece is the main show, and so what can you do to enhance that show?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's very interesting, and I'm constantly experimenting. But, for as much time as I spend on the main piece, between you and me, I spend more time on the closure. And it kills me that, if I pick something out of my, it kills me that, I don't know if you can see this. It's so tiny, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see. This is what, okay, I'm not doing it.
Go to your right a little bit.
Well,
the other right.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
tiny.
Oh my
Yes.
Little
goodness.
guy. If you don't have a good little guy like this,
Right.
you're not going to have a necklace. And
Right.
not only that, but I want the actual closure to look nice so that when the necklace moves on the body,
Sure.
okay, I'm doing this here. It's going to come around.
Yes.
But that it actually has integrity to it. And
Right.
that it kind of pairs a little bit with what, not exactly, but it kind of pairs with what you're working with.
Right.
And
Right.
I find that a piece, you can make or break a piece by not really thinking about the closure. You should be able to turn a necklace around and have it look decent. This looks like a necklace right here,
Right.
you know. And
Right.
so I actually spend more time on that because it's the part that's handled, it's mechanical, and it's also design oriented. And if you know, before I send my stuff off, I do like what's that word? Like quality
Oh,
control.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I pull and
Yeah.
I pull and I pull to make sure it's okay. But if these little guys, you know, if they don't work, forget it. You're not going to have a necklace. And that's like the most important part of the necklace is how it's going to stay together.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
that's
So
true. That's interesting.
anyway, so that's kind of you know, that's kind of how I work. And and we talked earlier that it's kind of hard to explain and actually talk about your art, so don't put people to
Yes.
sleep. But it goes from my brain, you know, to my hands. And I think I told you I only ever like really talked about it 3
Yes.
other times about, so like, well, what are you actually doing? But you know, when you're using your I put my tools away. When you're using your tools and you're you know, and you're bending, I'm still not done with this one yet, but you're bending the wire. Can you see? Can you see
Yeah.
this?
Yep.
There.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Right there.
You know, you're literally thinking to yourself, the relationship between here and here, the relationship
Mhm.
between here and here. Does this pearl work within this shape? Is it too small? Is it too big? And then when you turn it, you're asking yourself, does this work with this? Does this work with this? How about this curve? Does that work? And then the shape of the part that goes, you know, around the wire. And by the way, the wire are guitar strings. That's a whole other
That's
story.
gorgeous. I love that color. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And so, it's every little thing, you know, comes into
Right.
play. And I was telling somebody that, and I'm sure you'll agree with me because of the wonderful work that you do, that when you want it to be perfect, you want it to, in fact, oh, there's too much glue on here. I have to clean that one up. But you want it to be perfect. So and the fallout is you end up being such a perfectionist.
Yes.
And you can't turn it off. You know,
That's
you
true.
look at something and you go, oh, that should have been over here. That should have been, that's not nice. You know, you shouldn't be such a perfectionist. And then it's the same thing, like you know, the spiral, you know, I spent, I don't know how long deciding how long should this be? What size should this pearl be? I've already cut it twice. It needed to come up. And then the relationship between these spirals, and then how will it hang on the body? So there's a lot. It may not look, whoops. It may not look
There.
like a lot goes into it, but I'm sure you'll agree because of what you do. There's an awful lot that goes into color choice,
Yes.
type of fabric, and you know. By the way, you know, I started out in the textile world, so I've done, you know, I've done a lot of clothing, I've done a lot of felting, all of that, and then I ended up here. So,
Yeah.
but now that I'm done with this wire, I really want to get into layering like Queen Elizabeth, even more so, like slicing and dicing the, you know, the main stage. And so, and have always loved working with alternative materials. In fact, that takes me back, and I can still see it in my head. Those of you who are old enough to remember Betty Boop,
Mhm.
she had a grandfather. His name was Grampy. And the solution
Yeah.
to all of his problems was making something out of something else. So he was repurposing back in the 40s and 50s. And that has always intrigued me. And I've been repurposing, I think, since I came out of the womb. I didn't have art supplies as a little kid, and I'd go in the trash can and pull something out and make a collage. And I'm still doing that in a way. I'm using the guitar strings, or I'm using some other material. And so I don't know if I can. Okay, so
Yeah, gorgeous.
I don't know if you can tell what these are. But these are laundry pins.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Nice.
they're just laundry pins. And and I love the idea that the look of it is it punches above its weight. It looks like something, elegant, and maybe it is elegant. I don't know. I'm so close to it, I can't really, but I just think it's comical. I think you need to have a sense of humor when you work. And so I want to continue using and finding things, which is why I love flea markets so much, because you'll find something that's like, oh my gosh. And I've done lots of that sort of thing, like, and I was with a bunch of friends in Japan in 2015, and we all went for a box lunch, and they put the soy sauce in these little fish, and they had like a little red top on it, and like ding 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 ding. I went in the room. I said, if you don't want your bottle, I'd like to have it. And that was one of the first necklaces I made. I made it out of little fish bottles, and I filled it with wasabi colored seed beads.
Oh, nice.
And so to me, it was funny. It was interesting. I still like it. Occasionally I'll wear it. It's having some technical difficulties at the moment, but I've made things out of cash register numbers. Now those things don't seem to sell as well because they're so novelty.
Right.
And I'm sure and I know you'll agree with this, when you want to monetize whatever it is you're doing, you have to rob Peter to pay Paul. You have to you want to be creative. You don't want to be a sellout. So you have to come up, and that's a design challenge. You have to come up with, I want to talk with my hands in the right spot. But you have to come up with an idea that satisfies you creatively, that you think is going to sell without compromising yourself too much. So that's why Fashion Week doesn't get the wasabi fish. It doesn't get the It's getting pearls and wire, because it took me a long time to learn that women really like pearls. So we'll see what happens.
It's exciting. And when does Fashion Week begin?
Well, actually, I think it's already started. And because I've been seeing stuff online, I've been seeing a lot of runway stuff online, and I'm not exactly sure, there's so much, it's the whole city. There's so much going on in the whole city. And my little niche is, I would call it, it's alternative fashion. Both it's national and international. And it's a smart the way they do it. The venue that I'm working for, it's 4 floors in a hotel, and every artist has a suite. And the person that curates the whole thing, which also happens to be the designer that reps me, she kind of looks for like-minded clothing, so that if either of you ladies had a boutique in Montreal or Phoenix, you hop on a plane, you get to New York, across from Penn Station, you've got 4 floors to choose from with like-minded, she's jurying, like-minded clothing. Right. So that's kind of how she does it. And so there are other places like hers in the city, but it makes sense that she tries to keep everything together. So you're not going to get like Lily Pulitzer with Alambika Planet. You're going to get Alambika Planet, Rudy, and the jewelry's amazing. I mean, I think I like my stuff, but some of the other jewelry,
Yeah.
some of the other jewelry is simply amazing.
Mhm.
And the other thing too that I have figured out is that these oh, my earrings are crooked. These alternative fashions, women have no problem spending $1,000 on an outfit, just like that. But when it comes to the jewelry, if it's not silver or gold, they're not spending money on it.
Yeah.
And
Huh.
they want the biggest bang for the buck. And so you
Yeah.
have a lot of design challenges when you're making something. So you want to monetize it, you want it to sell. You can't use a lot of materials and get your costs up. You know the deal.
Right.
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 It's so if you can get all that balance and sell something, you're doing great.
Yes.
Well, your
You know,
collection
and
is beautiful, though. Your collection is
Oh, thank you.
so beautiful, and I think, like I said before, it's very contemporary, very simple, but very complicated in a way. Because of, especially when you were explaining that you're looking at the different distances on the spiral, so you're really doing a lot of calculations as
Well,
well.
it's true, and again, it's not. I'm trying to like very casually fix these earrings that anyway, yeah, I mean, and it's not something that you say to somebody, oh, I have to move this like a gazillionth of an inch. It's just, it goes from your head to your hands. And
Sure.
I know when you're making your dolls, you're going through both of you. And when you're choosing colors for your lifelike drawings, it's the same kind of thing. It's
Right.
incremental,
absolutely.
not anything you can explain to anyone. You just sort of do it.
Yes.
Right. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's such a strong, intuitive process, and you're listening to yourself and maybe the divine, however you term, your gift. But I loved everything that you said, like Adele touched on about really thinking about how this is put together. Um, and kind of jumping back to what you were saying is, how do you explain, when people say, what do you do? And you say, I'm an artist. And so then you get into your niche that you're in, and then you try to explain it to them. And if you show them, I mean, so I loved that you were able to express that really beautifully,
I hope
because
so. I hope so.
yes,
It's not always so easy. Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to mention is, because Adele, you had said something, you're still crooked. Jeez, Louise. All right. Well, anyway, you'll still like me if my earrings are crooked.
Yes, we still love
and
you.
we don't even notice it. So
Okay. But at some point, I know in 2000, uh, we were having a New Year's Day party, and I didn't want to do flowers. I don't know, there's no flowers. So I went to the grocery store and I started filling up my cart with vegetables. And I got back to the house and my husband was on call, and I poured a glass of wine. And the next thing I know, I've got these women made out of lettuce and radishes and mushrooms.
yeah.
And I had the best time, and I put them all over the house. And it was just a fun, it generated conversation. But the reason I'm bringing it up now is because I made jewelry for the women. Like I had like carrot bracelets, and I had, I don't know, something going on at the neck. And I actually had, it was before I was wearing hats. I made them hats, and I'm looking at these, and maybe I should wear a hat. Maybe I should wear jewelry. So it came from the vegetables,
Yeah.
which is really funny. But they're on permanent vacation. But I took photographs of them, and I used to do them for weddings and luncheons, and spend the whole week in the kitchen. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But so now I still sell them in one gallery in Philadelphia, and it's like, that's okay. It's been over 20 years, 22 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I know you have some of them on your website, don't you? I believe.
I think I do.
Yeah. In fact,
Forgot about 'em.
yes, and we'll repost your website so they can go in and look at
Oh, yeah,
your
thanks.
work and see what's going on on with some other pieces, because you've done all kinds of jewelry and just really beautiful. Well, we really have enjoyed your story, and thank you so much for being here with us. And it just opens up a different perspective on jewelry, which is
Right.
wonderful. And as artists, we love to hear that. We love to hear how people are doing and what they're creating and how are they sharing it with the world.
It's very true. And it's not just the end result for us, it's the journey.
It really
Exactly.
is.
And
Yeah.
the journey, that Christo Javachev, he did his wrapped bridges and everything, and then he took them down. It's like, you're making something, but it isn't going to last. That's because for him, it was about the journey.
Yes. Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Well, it was lovely having you. I know it took us a little while, but
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah.
we were excited. This is a great way to start out our year.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
welcome.
And Merle, we love the journey you're on and can't wait to hear about Fashion Week and just to continue to follow everything that you're doing. It's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
so
you for
much
being
for
with
being
us.
here, Merle. Have a fabulous day and
Yeah.
keep doing those jewelries.
Yep.
We love it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, that was wonderful.
I just so love everything that she said. And, Adele, you and I have both discussed this because we've been asked, like, what do we do and, how we explain it. And it, like Merle was saying, it does come so much from your head through your heart to your hands. And how do you explain that? The process,
I know. And you know what, Leslie, what I see when artists start talking about it, we just light up because passionate about what we're doing. I know, for instance, I have a full-time job and my employees love to hear what I do. And it's like I become so animated because I love what I do and they love hearing it. So, but we don't walk around saying, "Hey, you want to hear my story?" But it's we can relate to on any level, like her jewelry and what she was talking about. And the part that I like too is that she was talking about the end result, especially for her. She's also selling. Right. I think a lot of artists are just still creating because they love it. It's passionate, but some are trying to move over into that section of wanting to sell.
Right. And, like me, full-time artist, making my living, supporting my family, being an artist, you do have to think, how do I express my soul, my life, who I am, but still be able to, have your pieces accepted to some.
That's true.
Somebody art is creating, and then that relationship that somebody purchases it from you.
Right, and you're always trying to come up with something. You're thinking, well, did somebody else do this? You can't think that way. You just work from your heart and you just go with it.
Right.
Because to say, did we invent anything?
No,
not.
No.
Maybe not. We didn't invent anything. I mean, look at Queen Elizabeth. Look at how decked out she was.
Oh, I know. And see, and inspiration is everywhere. And I love Merle's take on it because, and it'll be exciting to see what she does with her layers. That's going to be really fun.
And
that's cool.
And for these other artists that like to do costuming, I mean, we both like to do costuming. I mean, that's right up our alley. Right. So, I mean, we take it from a big scale and bring it down to a small scale. Of course, we have to look at little bitty pearls.
Yes, right.
But it's all doable. And Queen Elizabeth has been an inspiration to a lot of costume people. Not only jewelry, but like the ruffs that she wore and her crowns and her collars. I mean, really,
you can take one just part of that and do so much with just one little part of that. It's pretty incredible.
I love all of that. It's love the tapestry and all of the handwork that went into that. Costumes.
Definitely. Yeah.
But it was great. It was great having Merle here. And
Yes.
hear a little bit more about her.
Yeah.
So, and we are also been working pretty hard trying to get things lined out for our summit.
Yes,
It's
absolutely. We
going to be
are,
magical.
I know, and we have, you can't see my whiteboards behind here, but they are packed with things to do, and it's going to be great. It's going to be
Yeah,
really
we
wonderful.
already working on getting our presenters. I pretty much have our teachers lined out. So we're going to start updating our website, and we will
Mhm,
make an
mhm,
announcement for that.
mhm.
And what's going on right now is our challenge from our house to your house. So I hope those that signed up are working on your houses.
Yes, and that was kind of a hint to me. And I um, I want to tell you a story about that a little bit. So, and art type of thing. So, Adele is making, I'll tell you what I'm going to make is I'm going to make a nest. That is going to be mine. And so I'm looking down at this box that I have, and I'm just going to grab a few. Let's see if I can grab just a few without bringing them all out. So I have these gorgeous twigs, and they're more brown than what's showing up here. They're much more brown. And I actually have an entire box full of these little twigs. And speaking of being an artist, so when I lived in Denver, I would go for a walk every morning, and in the fall time, this tree would drop its twigs to the ground. And so I saw them one day, and I bent down and I started, kind of rummaging through them and looking like what were the coolest out of all of them and picking them up. And this man came by and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm picking up these twigs." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I'm an artist." And he said, "Well, what are you going to do with them?" And I said, "I don't know, but aren't they lovely?" And and so I've had some on some of my dolls, but this is going to be so I have many of them to work with. So 6 years later, after collecting these, or maybe 5 years later, whatever, they're going to be a nest or part of a nest. So as an artist, you never know when you're going to need something, and you
No,
have to have it. You have to have it.
absolutely. That's why we have
Yes.
so much stuff.
I know. Well, and I love these twigs. I mean, I love these twigs. So I don't know.
Okay, well, we can't
Yeah.
wait to see what you're going to make.
Yes, yes.
Well, I decided I was going to make the house, and I think I had mentioned that I overbuilt for the neighborhood. But here's the thing. I decided I was going to make mine all out of cardboard, and I was not going to buy anything. I was going to use what I had, and it's really kind of funny because I've been trying to stick with that. And just this
Yes.
morning, I thought, I need this. I think I'll go to Amazon and I had it in my cart. And I said, "Nope, you're not sticking with your plan." I took it out of the cart, and I
Good
thought,
for
"I'm
you. That's
gonna look for
great.
something else." So I found something
Yes.
else, and but it's been a lot of fun, a lot of cutting and gluing, and you know, figuring out things. But we'll see. Yeah.
I think but isn't that so cool? That's part of the challenge. I mean, not only to challenge to create a house, but a challenge in perhaps maybe the materials that you're using or the
Yeah.
way that you think about things.
Yeah.
That's what art is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the amount of supplies that we have, I mean, really, we have so much stuff. I think every artist has so much stuff, and we have them in little boxes and whatever. And we just, like you said, you've been having those twigs for 6 years. No telling. I think I had moss somewhere. I needed moss, and I'm for my house. And I thought, I know I have moss. It's here
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I had to go on a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, and that, that is one thing that I'm really trying to do is like you were saying, we all have our treasures that
Yes.
we're going to save for that special project. Well, you know what? It's time to start using those
Yes.
things
Yes.
because every project is special, and so I am determined to use what I have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you would have been proud of me. I took that right out of my cart.
Good job. Yep.
Out of there.
Good job.
No money
Perfect.
spent there.
Yes.
Oh my
Perfect.
goodness.
Yeah.
So I've been taking all the recycled boxes at work, and
Yeah.
I dedicate Friday afternoon a couple hours and been cutting, and it's really been kind of cool because the employees have been
Yeah.
coming by and saying, "Oh, you've added this. Oh, let me see." So they've been enjoying the process as well. So
Yeah.
it's been a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I love it.
So everybody get with it.
Yes.
Yeah, Leslie, get with it. You're my
I
partner,
am. I
remember?
plan Sunday afternoon is my time to start working on my nest. So
Okay.
and
But
just
I think also you're working on another project.
um
Um,
yes. Yes, my rabbit
yes,
or
yeah.
yes, okay. I can show you a little bit of it.
Well, come on, give it up,
Okay.
girl.
All right, hold on. Let me
Let's
go
see
get
it.
her. Hold on.
Hi, Laura. I'm glad you're here. Anna, we're starting to see some people come in.
Yes.
Remember, this is going to be recorded.
Yep. So this is full moon rabbit.
Oh, she's lovely.
Yes. And so
I
here
love
she
her
is.
feet.
I know, isn't her feet great?
Her
So
paws.
her paws, her feet, yeah. So she'll be mounted, and I am writing about the process of her. So she is a sculpted head in clay first, and then like I said, using the things that I have. This is a vintage kimono fabric that is really gorgeous. There's a print on it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I love working with that. It's kind of a little bit harder to see on her face, but she's going to be really cool. I'm very excited. I already have, I'm already designing her costuming. Silks, vintage kimono fabrics, and paper too. So I'm dyeing the paper. I'm in the process of dyeing the paper. So she's going to be, I'm excited about her. Yep.
That's great, Leslie.
So,
well,
yeah.
We're seeing a lot of projects come in on Friday, because we ask to post something on Friday, and it's great to see so many different projects coming about.
I know.
Did you see, I can't think of her name right now, but did you see where she did the drawing and is going to do her drawing into fabric?
Yes.
That was very interesting. So we love to see that. That's what our community is about you connecting and sharing and showing us what you're doing. We love seeing that.
Yes, and all art.
That's it. We're here to cheer you on. So I guess
art can even be poetry. I mean, art
can be
anything. Yes,
absolutely. We are in music as well.
Music, right.
For those that have not attended our summit, we include all arts, including music, poetry, paper clay.
Collage.
Yep, everything. Basket weaving, jewelry.
Felting,
So
you name it. Yes.
We got it.
we're doing all of it. Yes. Definitely.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. Remember, this is going to be it is recorded, and you'll be able to go back and watch it. If you didn't see the beginning with Merle talking about her jury, please go back and visit that. It was really, really good and very, very interesting. And we congratulate her. She finished her collection, and it's off to New York.
I know. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah. I'm sure she spent a lot of time pulling that together.
So thank you everyone for showing up today, and we will continue to do these at least once a month. So we'll be back.
Yes, we will. Yes. We will be back. And remember that our theme is magic, capture the magic. So our theme for this year for broadcast is magical conversations. So thank you again for being here, and we will be seeing you soon.
Yes, thanks you guys. Good to talk with you.